Okay, we're ready. Toma la palabra Alonso Aguilar, el director del Festival Internacional de Cine de los Cabos. Alonso Aguilar Castillo, our film festival director, is taking the word.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, friends of the press, and thank you very much, Reese. It's such an honor to host you here. It's amazing to have the Latin American premiere of Wild. The film I saw it in Telluride, and it's such an amazing accomplishment. First of all, I wanted to ask you, how do you see Cabo? It looks beautiful. I think they say now it's unstoppable. So.
It's just beautiful. I've been here so many times with my children, and we just have a wonderful time here. We've been to many, many, many different locations. So, and Cabos is one of my favorite in the world. The best food, the best people, and you just can't beat these beautiful views. It's wonderful.
I'm so happy. They said, you've said before that this is one of your most difficult films, the most challenging in terms of physical, I don't know, all the weight, the walking and everything. What could you tell us about that?
Yes, this is definitely the hardest film I've ever made. Physically, it was very challenging because the character walks 1,100 miles across the desert and through the mountains and in the snow. We had to shoot all of these things, and it was incredibly challenging. It was me every day. I'm alone in the movie, and that's always hard. And then also the emotional aspects of the story were very raw and very emotional. My character's mother dies from cancer, and also she gets divorced, and she starts to lose control of herself and descends into a world of drugs and sex, and it was very gritty for me. I haven't done a movie like that. But it was a story that was very close to my heart, so I was happy to be doing that.
That's very important what you mentioned, because you're a producer of the film, a co-producer. How do you find the text? I mean, we know that Cheryl has such an amazing story, and the text has been a success by itself, but now the adaptation is amazing. How do you come across this material?
Well, in November of 2011, Cheryl Strayed sent me her book through an agent. And I read it in 24 hours, and I was just blown away. I was in tears. I was on an airplane. I was crying. And I said to my agent, I have to talk to this woman. I don't know who she is, but this is an extraordinary book, and this is going to make an amazing movie. It was very cinematic. And so I called her the next day, and I told her why I thought it was a movie, and to my good fortune, she let me option the book.
And what a magnificent story, because Jean-Marc Vallée is such an amazing director. We, at this festival, last edition, we closed it with Dallas Buyers Club. So I think it gives us a nice circle for it. How was the experience of working with Vallée?
Jean-Marc Vallée is wonderful. He's a French-Canadian director who has a new shooting style. It's unlike so many movies. I mean, he makes sure that every day is very authentic. No makeup, only one camera. We shot all in digital, so everything was happening in real time. Normally we shoot a close-up and a close-up, but he would go straight from the wide shot to the close-up and turn around, and everything happened so fast, But he has a very distinct way of editing as well, so that memory, it slows down, it speeds up, it's how we remember things, and fits and starts, not in one long linear line. So I think he's an incredible filmmaker.
It's an amazing director for this festival, especially because this film summarizes our spirit, which is Mexico, US, Canada. Jean-Marc is a Quebec director based in LA. You walk, I think, from the border of Mexico to almost the border of Canada. But he gets from you such an amazing performance, right? A lot of people are talking about a possible nomination. I believe you deserve it more than ever. Do you think that's viable? What do you think about that?
Certainly for a film like ours, that would be incredible. Nomination, any kind of award recognition is helpful for a smaller movie like ours. We don't have the same kind of big, marketing machine behind our film, so it's exciting that people are even saying that. But the most important thing, and this is what Cheryl says when she wrote her book, is building that bridge to an audience, because that's the most important thing an artist can do. And that bridge that artists build is forever. movies are forever, you know. It's exciting to be in a moment in time, but I've learned through my life and my career that movies live in people's families. They help them through difficult times. They stay with you all your life. So that's what is most important to me, and I hope the film touches people and it becomes a movie that they're able to watch for the rest of their lives.
I think the movie completely excels at that. When I watched it, I remember I was sitting next to a 50-year-old man. He was sobbing by the end of it. It's an amazing performance. I really thank you in the name of the festival, and Cabo as well. It's such an honor, really. So now I think we should open the floor to a few questions from the friends of the press.
Hi, Reese. Great movie and great job on everything.
Thank you.
I was just really curious. You've played a bunch of different roles. What's your dream role if you could go back in time, or maybe a dream role in your head that you thought of? What would be your dream character to fulfill?
That's a great question. I have to say, I mean, I think this movie fulfills a lot of parts that I never even thought I would have the opportunity to play. So I really think this was the gift of a lifetime that Cheryl gave me. Her story, and was so honest about it and so loving about just letting me do this. But I have so many ideas. I don't know, I'm one of those people who has so many new ideas every week. Maybe it's this thing. I love, I don't know, it's been nice to sort of grow and change with my audience, so it's nice to see what other people are liking on film. You know, I would love to play fantasy characters. I think that's really fun. I love watching like Game of Thrones or, you know, Snow White and the Huntsman or something like that. That'd be fun.
Next one.
Hi, or here. Reese, this movie is about a strong woman, two extraordinary women, really, you and Laura Dern. The men in the movies are nothing, are like shadows in the film. How do you feel that the movie that you make is a movie that the woman can have like a guide, like a light in her lives? Do you think about that when you make the movie, when you say, I want to make this character?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of sort of press about, is this a woman's movie? And I really, you know, it's interesting because it is all happening to a woman. But I think if it were about a man, we'd never mention that it was a man's story. Because it is about love and sex and drugs and death and loss. And I think it's a human story. I also think, you know, the way she encounters men in the movie, the vast majority of the experiences she has with men in the film are really positive. Her ex-husband, the men who help her on the hike, the man who brings her into his house and feeds her dinner, and she meets a wonderful man at a concert, and they have a romance. So I think it's, you know, it's just about humanity and the people we run into. And I think that Cheryl, what I've, you know, learned from her and her perspective is that she was so scared to go on the hike. She was afraid she would be hurt. That she learned that she was ultimately, you know, safe in the world. And that's a big gift, you know, to be safe in the world.
Next question.
Hi, Reese. Welcome to Mexico.
Thank you.
Wait, can you tell us a little bit of producing? I mean, you produced this movie.
Yes.
So I would like to know a little bit more about this job duties in this movie. And also, a lot of people is now working in Mexico. I don't know if you have the chance, or you have the idea to work and produce something in Mexico. Thank you.
Yeah. I started producing about 2 years ago. I bought 2 books. One was Gone Girl, and the other is Wild. So this year has been a very exciting year for us to have our 2 films come out. But the whole idea of starting the company was I was looking at scripts in Hollywood and realizing that there weren't a lot of leading parts for women that were interesting and complex and dynamic, like the women that I know in real life. So it was important for me to develop more of those parts for myself, but also for other actresses, like Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl. And it's been such a successful formula. I started the company with my own money. We do everything. There's only 2 of us when we work there. And it's just been so exciting to see all the studios calling us and say, what do you have next? We want more of these roles, because clearly the audiences are going to see them. But to answer your question about Mexico, I think it's so important. It's one of the most important movie-going audiences, the Latin American audience. It makes up 35% of the box office of every comedy in America. So I realized that about a year ago, and I thought, but nobody's developing the movie scripts for this Latin American talent. So I called Sofia Vergara, and I said, I want to make a movie with you. And I pitched her 7 ideas. She hated 6 of them, but she liked 1. And I said, okay, I'm going to make this movie for you. And I had Hollywood writers write the script for her and I, and our movie is coming out in May. And it's 2 women in a comedy. It's a caper movie, but it's amazing to see what audiences, how they respond to her in that performance, and that it's such an underserved audience. They are so happy to have that opportunity to see, you know, the 2 cultures together too, a very American woman and a very Colombian woman in one film. And it's been really exciting, and I hope to do it more in the future, because again, studios are calling me and saying, do you have anything else for Latin American women? And I said, hold on, I'm working on it. I'm working. But yeah, it's been great.
We have time for one more question, please.
Got it. Hello. Hi. To ask again the question, what about distribution, international sales in U.S.?
You mean on this particular film?
Yes.
It's being distributed through Fox.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah, internationally.
And did they pick it up at what stage did they pick it up?
Well, the whole process was we developed the script outside the studio system with private equity because I didn't want to hear people say we don't want to see Reese be profane or use drugs, which I've had those experiences for. So we developed the whole script with Nick Hornby, and then we presented it on one day to all the studios. And by the end of the day, we had 4 offers from 4 major studios to make the film. And I said, I'm not changing a word. That's the script I'm doing, and I'm ready to go. And they said, okay.
Hola, por aquí. Gabriel Cuevas por aquí, de Telemundo, Suelta la Sopa. Me gustaría preguntarte si te gustaría trabajar con algún mexicano. Exactamente, el cine mexicano en estos últimos 2 años ha tenido como comentarios positivos. Se habla de que Eugenio Derbez en Estados Unidos pues ha sido nombrado como uno de los latinos más influyentes. Aquí en México es muy querido. ¿Te gustaría trabajar con él o con quién mexicano te gustaría compartir créditos en una película?
No.
Okay, so he was saying that now there are many Mexican actors working in the States and with a lot of popularity. One of them is Eugenio Derbez.
Yeah.
So if you would like to ever work with him or something, or someone else in your mind, a Mexican actor.
I actually have spoken to Eugenio. I asked him to be in our last movie, but he was busy doing another film. So he and I are very, we're in touch, and we're definitely trying to find something to do together, because I think he's wonderful. He's so funny, but he's also a wonderful actor. Very talented man. But you tell him when you see him, I asked him to do a movie.
Bueno, muchas gracias.